What up, everybody, and welcome back to Funboxing with Will from H2O Co Film and Photo. I'm Will right here, and today I wanted to do a review on my new tool. It's probably the best camera I've ever owned and my favorite camera. It is the Canon Rebel T7i entry-level DSLR. Now, if you're anything like me, I did a little bit of research. I wanted to get a decent camera, something that I could use to shoot my short films and start a photography business and get into some really good pictures instead of just the capabilities that my cell phone had. So I did a little bit of research, probably honestly not as much as I should have, and I went out and bought a camera. Now, I personally am completely satisfied with the camera that I got. I love the T7i. It confused me a little bit when I got online and started doing some more research about the camera and as far as, how to use it and operate it. I got online and realized really quickly that this is considered to be an entry-level DSLR and that it's not considered to be a professional camera, which honestly blew my mind because I figured for $900 I would get a professional camera. Now, the things that really blew my mind in the end of the day were when I did my real research into it and realized that it's not an entry-level DSLR. Now, back in the day, 10 years ago, an entry-level DSLR had none of the capabilities this camera does, and actually some of the higher-end DSLRs didn't even have some of the capabilities this camera has. So as the advancement of technologies increased, pretty much the newer and newer entry-level DSLRs are more and more capable, narrowing that gap between a professional camera and an entry-level DSLR. One of the features this camera has that I absolutely love is dual pixel autofocus, even when shooting in video. So Canon smashes it when it comes to autofocus on their lenses and in their systems. No other camera on the market has as good of an autofocus system as Canon does, and usually it had been reserved for their higher end models in their cameras. The T7 does not have it. The T6i did not have it. And so the T7i is the first entry-level DSLR that they've incorporated this feature into, and it really does step the game up of the camera phenomenally. And in my opinion, it turns it from an entry-level DSLR into an actual professional camera. So it comes with a 3.2-inch LCD touchscreen monitor that is completely adjustable. You can pull it out for when you're vlogging, when you're doing pretty much what I'm doing here. You can see yourself on the camera screen, which is very useful. I found it to be very useful for shooting low shots to the ground. If I'm getting some B-roll and I'm going to be shooting lower to the ground, I can angle the monitor up to me, the screen up to me, and I can view what I'm doing instead of just guessing and hoping that I got the right shot, So some of the other features that it has is it shoots 6 frames a second. So for sports photography, if you're trying to get in there and get that one frame where he's, kicking the ball and he's halfway off the ground and they're you want to get that crispy photo. This is more than capable of doing it. So, as I said, 10 years ago, the top-of-the-line DSLRs weren't capable of doing what this camera is capable of. So, I honestly feel to give it the label of an entry-level DSLR is kind of unjust. But, again, that's just my personal opinion, and, to each their own. But, anyways, the settings in the camera are super amazing. There's even a guide that pretty much steps you through it that you can disable later on once you feel comfortable with the camera. But it's pretty much a user's guide to where when I change sections, if say I want to put it from automatic to manual mode, this screen will pop up and it will give me a layman's term, idiot-proof example of how to operate under these settings. So, and it follows up with every other mode in the camera as well. And as I had said before, the dual pixel autofocus in this camera takes it to an entirely new level when it comes just to system operations. So, it has a crop sensor, APS-C crop sensor, so 1.6. So, you have to think about that and consider that when you're purchasing lenses for it. You're going to have to multiply your millimeter on your lens by the crop factor, which is 1.6. So if you're shooting on a 50 millimeter lens and you multiply that by 1.6 of the crop factor of the sensor, you're roughly getting about an 80 millimeter view on the screen. So just keep that in mind when you're shooting, as opposed to what you would be shooting with a full frame camera. And other than that, it is an amazing camera. It has an audio mic output, so you can hook up a mic to it, external mic. It has HDMI. It also has NFC, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, so it makes it very easy to transfer your photos over from the camera to another camera, to a computer, to your tablets, to your laptop, to your cell phone, to whatever you want, so that you can get those images out on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. You can share them relatively quickly. I love it. I use it every day. It's what I'm going to be starting my new business here with. And yeah, it's the t7i EOS. And again, I don't know. People say it's an entry-level DSLR. I don't buy that. From what I've experienced, it should be considered a professional DSLR. But yeah, anyways, so it's a 24.2 megapixel sensor, and the image quality on it is amazing. It captures smooth footage. It can shoot up to 60 frames a second in 1080 full high def. Now, it doesn't have 4K, but you still can get really good B-roll with it. So, I don't know. All around, in general, my review is amazing. It's a positive review. It's a great camera, and I feel that it's unfair that it's been labeled as an entry-level DSLR. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you think the t7i should be considered a mid-range DSLR instead of an entry-level. But other than that, this is probably going to be the last video I shoot this year. It's coming up on the end of the year. I cannot wait to see what 2020 has for us in store, and I will be seeing you soon. So like, subscribe, smash that like button if I was helpful at all today, and I hope you have a great afternoon or evening, as it were. Have a good night, guys.